here talking about underhook as part of the basic jiu-jitsu principles. And obviously I labour the point with underhook a lot. It's, in my opinion, probably the most important thing in terms of grappling. And there's 4 rules that I have for underhooks. The second rule in my underhooks game is what I call the 4 dates. Now the 4 dates rule has a few parts to it, so first I better show you those 4 dates. From the front, I'll show you the front and the back. This is first date, that's second date, that's third date, that's 4th date. Now, I'll show you those the other way around now. We'll just face Callum's back to the camera. First date is on the near shoulder. Second date is the far shoulder. Third date is the far hip. And 4th date is the near thigh. Essentially a single leg. Now, part of the 4 dates rule is I'm always striving to get the highest number that I can. Now, usually if I can reach first, usually I can reach second. You'll notice that to get to second I've had to move my body closer. By moving my body closer to second, I can generally reach third. If I can reach third, I can generally reach 4th. So the rule is that I try to go to the highest number that I can. I don't have to start at 1. If I was fighting away and third was available, I go straight to third. I go to the highest number underhook I can get at any one time. Now, for those who saw the previous video we released on underhook would know that we follow underhooks. Now, if we were in a clinch position here, where I had an underhook, you'll notice this underhook I have here is a first date. It's touching that shoulder. Now, I want to follow the underhook so I can get around to better and more advanced positioning, but it's very difficult to do it because Callum has his weight down on it. So that's a smart thing for Callum to do. There's a lot of ways to transition around and pummel with underhooks. I'm not going to go into them all right at this point, it's to do a little bit later. But what I want to make the point of saying is that if I've got a first date underhook and I stay there, it's quite weak. But if I can transition immediately to a second date, which means my shoulder is blocking Callum's arm, keeping his elbow far from his body. If we go back to our elbow rule, I'm keeping up Callum's elbow away. It allows me more freedom to move to a better position each time, and a better position each time. And that's what we're always going to try to do with our 4th dates. So first part of it is that I always go to the highest number I can. Second part of it is I don't have to start at any particular number. I start at the highest one that I can, moving through those positions. And the last point, I suppose, is it looks, a lot of you might recognise that the 4th date looks a little bit like a single leg, and it is. So I can use that 4th date position to be a single leg takedown. So the whole underhook game is not just a word. Underhook is not just a thing like this. Underhook is a strategy. It's a strategy to move, to take positions, and to get takedowns. Now, we'll go break away now and we'll go back to the ground and we'll talk a little bit about that, about how we're going to use those positions on the ground. This video is the second, as I say, second in the series. This is called the 4 dates of underhook. Now obviously you've already seen the standing aspect of this. This is where we talked about the 4 underhook positions. I did talk in that video a little bit about the fact that this is a tactic. It's a whole strategy. When I say underhook to my students, I don't expect them to put their arm under their opponent's arm and leave it at that. It's about the entire movement game that should take them from a bad position to a strong position and ultimately to a top control position. And that's what we're after here. I'm going to demonstrate this in terms of a half guard sweep. Basic technique that we've all done before. And it'll cover each of the options. I'll also make another video a little later which will go into a bit more detail about some of the position options as well. But for now, we'll go through a basic half guard sweep using underhook. And because I'm using underhook, it's going to use the 4 dates rule. So Callum's got a half guard for me, and I can spend a bit of time talking about this here. Right now, Callum's between my two legs with his leg, but I don't have any controls of any kind. First part of basic half guard sweeping is that I get an underhook on the side that I'm out to. So I'm out to my right side, I can get a right hand underhook. But we need to know what our legs are doing with half guard. Well, I can either put my outside leg in to control Callum's legs, or I can put my inside leg out to control Callum's legs. And that isn't just a preference thing, that matters. The rule is this is something that Tiago Stefanuti, my coach, told me. He said that whichever direction I want to move in dictates which leg crosses. If I've got my inside leg crossing out, that's the movement I would use if I was going to duck under and come into a deep half guard type position. If I have my outside leg going in, that's the way I'm going to go if I move my body out and around into a classic sort of half guard sweep position. Now, what we're going to do here in a minute is Callum will get half guard on me and I will show the movement. But because I'm using an underhook, I'm going to put with my right hand, I'm going to put my right leg over Callum's leg. And that's, that sets up the position, the best way to do the sweep. So Callum's got his side control, his half guard sorted out. In the best position for him, he has the underhook, because we always know we're always fighting for the underhook. So ultimately, I need to have the underhook the best I can have it. So I can, just like side control, he was taken out to get my underhook. Now, right now, Callum's still squashing me, doesn't help me very much. And we already talked about 4 different underhooks. Right now, I've got a first date underhook, which is the only advantage I can say of that is I have an underhook. It's not giving much else though. So what I should ideally do is when I hip out and get my underhook, I need to follow my underhook. So I hip out and get my underhook and I'll follow it with my body. Now I can reach all the way across to a second date underhook. And then, as I said before, with the rules of the underhook, I go to the highest number I can. From this position, I could probably reach all the way down to the far hip to a third date underhook. And you know, from the first, when I hit out, I may have been able to go directly to the third, and that's okay as well. Next position I can reach to if I can, and remember, I always go to the next underhook if I can, is down under leg to the 4th date underhook. With that position, I can get to my knees, and then I can drive through to finish my sweep. So let's have a look at that again one more time. So Callum has everything he wants, and I don't have what I want. I don't have anything that I want. So I'm going to have to get my underhook. I'm going to create a frame, bridge, and slide my hand to get it. As I follow my underhook, I reckon, if all goes too well, I won't have to go to second date. I can go straight from first to third. We'll see what happens, but I reckon I can. And because I'm always after the highest number underhook I can get, that's what I'm going to do. So I'll create a frame, I'm going to bridge, get underhook, follow it, and yes, take the third date. Now, the fact that my outside leg was crossing in over Callum's leg means my bottom leg is now free to move, so I can get out and get on my knee. So what I'm going to do before I get to my knee is going to follow the underhook rule, get to 4th date. From there, I'm going to get to my knee and I can just drive and push Callum over, or I can reach my hand to grab his knee so he can't post. And if needs be as well, my 4th date hand can reach from there to the outside of Callum's foot to grip. I can drive from there to set up my top position. So that's a way that we can apply the 4 dates principle in terms of a grappling exchange. So we looked at it standing and overhead on the ground. One thing that's interesting is that when we were standing, I talked about how The fourth date was basically a single leg takedown. And I always look at the basic half guard suite as being a single leg because they're essentially the same mechanics. And when I start to think about having the same basic concept to learn that I can apply to at least 2 different circumstances, it makes my game far more efficient. So I don't need to learn anywhere near as much in order to do a lot in a wider range of circumstances. Thanks for that. See you next time.